Today I'm going to walk you through putting on this minimizer toolbox onto our Isuzu NRR garbage truck. This garbage truck does not have any storage to speak of. You can see there's the littlest bit behind the chairs here, but with a fire extinguisher and road flares that take up most of that, throw in some PPE, a tire compressor, your spill kit, you don't have too much room, especially if you're packing lunch boxes or something. There's just not much room left for anything. You do have a small dashboard glove box there that again does not have much room. And that's pretty much it. You've got a small footwell, you can put stuff there. But if you're using a garbage truck for garbage pickup, you really don't want to put things that you care about on the floor. It's just dirty. Obviously, every Isuzu will have a different wheelbase configuration depending on what it's used for. When we look at the right side of the vehicle, there is no room for an underbody toolbox. Between the after exhaust system, which takes up much of the space, and the suspension, there just isn't any room to put anything. Behind the Isuzu or the front of the garbage body, again, there's just no room for anything. Which leads us to this small section here on the left side, behind the def tank, behind the batteries, and in front of this bump out of the garbage truck and the suspension of the wheels, we have a very precious few inches of storage. And it's just perfect for a Minimizer underbody toolbox. So if you haven't heard of Minimizer, they're a brand that is a part of a family of brands that makes a ton of accessories for tractor trailers, semis, all kind of heavy industrial vehicles. Whether it's mud flaps or chrome accessories or fenders, floor mats, maybe you like stainless steel accessories, these guys have a hand in pretty much everything that you could think of when it comes to tractor trailer, semis, accessories. Now, when it comes to medium duty Isuzu type trucks, there aren't a ton of products in their library that cross over, but the Minimizer brand toolboxes are definitely one of them. And it works out really well because these brackets from Minimizer, which are made for their toolboxes, the bolt holes line up perfectly with the Isuzu pre-drilled frame rails. I'll show you the hardware that I'm using and just how easy it is to install one of these Minimizer toolboxes on your rig. There's lots of brackets that come through. There are rivets for the suspension that we really don't want to mess around with. The garbage body also protrudes from the frame rail by some fraction of an inch. So we're going to use washers between that bracket to bump it out a little bit, and then that way we can still seat everything level and still be flush, and we won't have any interference issues. For mounting this, we have about $40 of grade 8 hardware. We have 2-inch 7/16 bolts and lock nuts. Found out those are just a hair too big to go into the Isuzu. So we're just going to hold on to those for another project. We ran back up to the hardware store and got some 3/8 hardware. These fit perfect. That's the hardware that we will use to mount the frame to the rail, in addition to a ton of washers for spacing. When it comes to securing the box to the brackets, we have 2 holes here, and we have some 1.5-inch long 7/16 bolts as well. Those fit through those holes. Again, plenty of washers. And that is the only thing we will have to drill for, is those 4 holes into the box after we have the brackets mounted. But let's go ahead and mount the brackets first. And we've just got it a little bit loose for alignment. Looks like we might have the littlest bit of not lining up right there, but that is not gonna give us any real issue. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna say it's theft proof, because anybody who wants to get into anything good enough is going to, but this does have a nice little option for a padlock. You've got a locking key here. You open it up that way, and then either to the right or to the left to unlock it, and then it opens up there. So again, this is their smallest box, but it's a lot more storage space than I had before. The insides have this super thick seal, runs all the way around the opening, and then that combined with a pretty generous overhang means that water is going to have a very hard time getting in here, or dust, dirt, landfill juices, any of the stuff you're going to be using or running into on a daily basis. Now, the only thing I'll mention about using these brackets with the 18-inch box, you can see that one of the holes here will not have anything to grab a hold of if you push this all the way flush to the back of those brackets. Whether or not that's an issue for you, that's honestly going to be up to you to decide. In my case, even though it would be nicer to have it flush, it's not going to make a difference as far as overhang or anything. Bringing it forward, yes, it does stick out a little bit further, but it is by no means sticking out further than anything else. Now, a benefit of pulling it forward is that I will actually be able to open it further than 90 degrees, because if it was pushed all the way back, this bracket could interfere with opening past 90. And there's your inside. Obviously, if you don't want to do it like me, a hillbilly, you don't use white silicone and you don't put the bolts sticking straight up. But I would rather have the extra clearance down here, which might be stupid because the bolts, I still don't think they went past here. But that's just me being paranoid. And then of course, because I did this by eye, I misaligned something and the door won't shut all the way. But that's okay. We don't need all this bracket support. It's binding right here. We're just gonna bend it back a little bit. And let me make clear again, this was not an issue with the brackets. This was an issue with the brad. We may need bigger pliers. Perfect. This is a garbage truck. I just need it to work. I don't care how it looks. But yeah, to me, if you squint, I don't think anybody's gonna give me grief about it. So this is what I was saying, the fact that we've got to mount it forward is actually a good thing, because now we can open up further than 90 degrees, full access there, which is definitely nice. There's what it looks like while it's open from afar. And I don't think I showed you, here's the locking mechanism. Pushes those rods up and down. Swivels back and forth. Those bars will go into these tabs, which are plastic, yes, but they are pretty thick. There's a big molded pocket there. And we've got keys for locking this, which will prevent this from opening. And this keys locking mechanism, you can see here, is this little tab. That pin comes out and goes into there and just keeps you from being able to open it. If you wanted to, on top of that, you could drop a padlock through those. So there you go. There's our Minimizer 18-inch toolbox. They make these in a couple different configurations. Tool chest, in-frame, underbody. Make them in different sizes. They make them in different colors. So if you're interested, the links will be below in the description. You can go ahead and check them out for yourself.